Hey everyone, I really wanted to say this before the video even begins, but honestly, I am extremely happy with the way this channel has been progression. I'm literally can't believe it right now, the fact that we have somehow got over 50 subs with my channel only being a week and a few days old. It's really mind-blowing. I didn't expect the progress to feel this fast, and I just wanted to say thank all of you for deciding to come along with me on my YouTube journey, and it really means a lot. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I didn't really think of doing a 50 subscriber special for this kind of event in my channel. I was more so saving that for a 100 subscriber thing, because I feel like that would be a really big deal for me because that's like the first big hurdle that you get over as a YouTuber. But I will think of ideas for that definitely. If you all have any ideas, let me know. Now, for today's topic, I really want to discuss something that I personally really disagree with a large consensus of the One Piece community about, and that is the portrayal of Big Mom in the series and how I think she's actually a really interesting character, unlike many people who consider her kind of a joke or a plot device. And before I get into the contents of this video, I just want to let you know that if you do enjoy this video, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, YouTube spiel, you know what to do. And I hope you enjoy the video. From all that I've seen of the fan base ever since I've started joining this community, I've realized there are three main arguments as to why Big Mom is not really an enjoyable character or even a bad character in some people's eyes. Argument one is that she doesn't have the same level of grandiose nature as Whitebeard, Shanks, or even Blackbeard and Kaido. Now, in regards to Shanks and Blackbeard, they are characters that have had hundreds and hundreds of chapters of build-up, so they will obviously be really hard to compare to anyone. They're both incredibly interesting characters because of how long they have been established in the story, and we're curious to see every move they do in the story. While I would say Whitebeard didn't have the most interesting introduction, where he's just talking to Rockstar, his entire arc and reveal of his character through Marineford solidified him as a true legend of the world, especially when we saw his power and his influence that he had. Kaido's introduction also cemented him as this really powerful figure in the world, not only because we've heard of his power, but we've also seen his power now firsthand from the eyes of characters we followed as well, from Kid, Hawkins, Killer, and Apu's point of view. All of these moments have a really strong sense of power and influence, while Big Mom only had a moment of influence when it was her sitting menacingly in a chair, dripping acid onto the ground when thinking about the candy that Luffy stole from her at Fishman Island. This moment paints her not as a powerful figure, but as a figure with a lot of influence itself, giving her the kind of vibe that a mafia boss villain would have in a story, showing her influence by gaining knowledge from all these other places around the world that she has command over. Big Mom's influence is most shown to the reader through the leading up to events of the Whole Cake Island arc, where Big Mom directly derails the story from where it was going to go, which would be the Straw Hats heading to Wano, to Luffy having to rescue Sanji from Whole Cake Island. I think this is honestly the greatest show of influence that any Yonko has had in the entire story. This may make it seem that Big Mom is a weaker character, kind of like Doflamingo, where she relies on her skills of manipulation. However, her first appearance in her arc, Whole Cake Island, we see her on a hunger rampage where she's destroying one of the islands that she governs over. This introduction sharply contrasts the idea that she is a manipulative influencer, and instead it cements her as the idea of a powerful, off the rails kind of force of nature element in this world. And this segues perfectly to my next point about Big Mom, which is the second complaint that I would like to discuss in this video. The second complaint I would like to discuss is people's idea that Big Mom's lack of responsibility makes her unfit to be a Yonko in the One Piece world. Now, in comparison, once again, to Whitebeard and Shanks, I feel like she is very irresponsible, even though she is ruled over hundreds of islands all over the New World and the Grand Line. But in regards to a crew that is responsible and has trust in one another, they have much more trust. On the other hand, Kaido and Blackbeard seem to rule their crew and subordinates out of fear and out of the idea that they will get something in return in favor of working for Blackbeard. Big Mom uses the same concept of ruling out of fear, not just for herself, but for her family as well, because they think Big Mom is immensely terrifying. In the same clip that I showed earlier, later on, Big Mom actually steals the soul from her own son, who is just trying to protect the village that she rules over. Yes, because of all these claims, Big Mom isn't necessarily responsible in the fullest extent, because she can go on these instantaneous mood swings that just absolutely turn her from a manipulative monster to a literal monster in the One Piece world. But all of these claims can be completely understood by the reader because of what Big Mom has went through her flashback. Ever since she was a little girl, she was described as having immense strength, and because of this, she was able to basically get whatever she wants, whenever she wants. This was so much so that she was actually left on the island of Elbaf so giants could look after her. One fateful day on Elbaf, during their fasting session, Big Mom absolutely flipped out and started attacking hundreds of giants in Elbaf. This led to one of the leaders of Elbaf being killed by a young Big Mom. However, during all of this time, she was enabled by Mother Carmel, and she was allowed to basically be as belligerent as she wanted to be. This would also be followed up after Big Mom's friends and Mother Carmel's quote-unquote sudden disappearance, when someone just passing by on Elbaf saw that Big Mom was incredibly dangerous and thought that he could use her to better his position in the world. This moment also stuck in Big Mom's mind as this moment that she constantly thinks about. This is shown especially in Whole Cake Island, when the destruction of her picture of Mother Carmel absolutely sends her ballistic and actually in almost a catatonic state. Now, because she was able to basically do whatever she wants and never really have to grow or mature, her entire aesthetic and view of the world is from the point of view of a child. That's why Whole Cake Island is such a Disney-based wonderland, fantasy land, and her entire obsession with the world is desserts, and her goal in life is something that for many people has been inachievable, but because of her ambition and her childlike wonder, she actually has the potential to do it through making kids. From this point, you can tell that Big Mom is powerful and manipulative. However, she's also naive and innocent since she has the worldview of a child. So for this point, I can actually see where people are coming from. However, this just comes from them comparing Big Mom to the other Yonko, Whitebeard, Shanks, Kaido, and Blackbeard. I feel as though comparing each of them constantly kind of negates the point of individuality. I remember specifically before Big Mom and Kaido were both introduced, they saw that Whitebeard should be this pinnacle of perfection in the world. I think the flaws that both Big Mom and Kaido possess is what makes them more interesting characters. And I'm not saying more interesting as though they are better than Whitebeard, because personally, Whitebeard's one of my favorite characters in the whole series, but I'm just saying more interesting, like, they're interesting. They're neat that they have fun quirks. However, my third point, and from what I've seen, the largest demographic of people seem to think that Big Mom's quirk of being childlike is very bad for the story. This has been an argument that I've seen many times that say that Big Mom's kind of mood swings and her specific demeanor towards some characters, towards other characters, are completely different. People are saying that the writing for Big Mom is almost a plot device that's able to move the story along, because Oda uses her kind of innocent and always changing demeanor to do whatever he wants with the story. However, I just think that he uses that to set up something, to set it back to what we expect Big Mom to do naturally. I'll be specifically focusing on the Wano arc of the story, because that is where the vast majority of complaints have come from. Now, if I'm being completely honest, I believe that the complaints are coming mostly from the Wano arc, because many fans have started watching or reading the series because Wano's hype is just next level. I would say throughout Whole Cake Island, Big Mom is a very solid character that focuses both on being manipulative and powerful, like I mentioned earlier. But in Wano, there's one very inarguable moment. Actually, let's say two. there are two very inarguable moments that many of the fans found absolutely terrible for the writing of One Piece. Just a warning for any solely anime viewers, the second moment that I'm going to say in this video is a manga spoiler, so if you want to skip it, just follow this timestamp that I'm going to put right now. The moment that I think really killed Big Mom's credibility at the start would be her getting amnesia at all in the entirety of Wano. I remember when that chapter first released and I read it, I was very confused about the direction that Oda was heading in. However, after seeing the results of that with the mothering mode stuff from the recent chapters of Wano, I could understand why he had the amnesia. However, in my own mind, I feel like Big Mom would have had that same bond with children without the mothering mode idea at all. As I've mentioned earlier, I view Big Mom as the symbol of a literal overgrown child who's never really had to mature or grow, so it makes sense that the people she would get along with the most are children. So I feel as though having the mothering mode concept in the arc is a bit derivative, because I feel as though Big Mom would have gotten along with Momo and Tama basically instantly if they were on the right side. So I feel as though giving amnesia to create the bond between them was a good call in the long run. I'm gonna put a big italics on that, because I think right now it's good, but obviously we don't know the full results of it since the arc isn't finished. But right now I'm on board with it. The second point I wanted to bring up was Big Mom's portrayal leading up to her arrival at the rooftop during the raid of Onigashima. I am not at all going to say that after the rooftop, Big Mom has been at all a slouch in any fights. However, leading up to the rooftop, I felt like she was portrayed kind of as a joke. As a big fan of Nico Robin, I remember this moment very well, but I remember in one of the chapters leading up to the rooftop, Big Mom was literally rolled out of the way by Nico Robin using the same technique that allowed Luffy to escape from Eni's lobby. Looking back on it now, I can understand why Oda used so much comedy in these sections, because right now it is a very tragic moment in Wano, but still, having her be depicted as the joke constantly kind of made it feel as though she was not as much of a threat as Kaido, when in fact they should be on equal representation levels. With all those 3 points put out there, I believe that Big Mom does certainly have some flaws that people do dislike about her, to put it bluntly. However, for a lot of these aspects, I find them really, really enjoyable. I think that Big Mom is not only menacing, she's also powerful, and I think she deserves to be more respected in the One Piece community. She's personally one of my favorite characters in the story right now because she's so active. I feel as though every time Big Mom is going to be on a page, something crazy has the possibility of happening at any second. I think that childlike, temperamental kind of attitude of hers is what makes her so interesting. Anything can happen at any second because she just wants it to happen. I think that aspect of her shows the true power of what a Yonko is capable of. If I'm being completely honest, I think many aspects of her character remind me a lot of Luffy's character, and Luffy is my favorite character in all of One Piece. But I'm curious what you all think. Are you guys fans of Big Mom, or do you think she's pure trash, like many of the other people with those arguments might say? I'm curious to know. And if you liked the video, remember, YouTube spiel time. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. And with that, that's been me, and I hope you liked this video. Oh, I do have a question. If you do like Big Mom, what do you think is your favorite moment of hers? Or your favorite aspect of hers? We can go with either the two, whichever you'd prefer. And with that, hope you enjoyed the video, and that's all from me. Have a good one. This will be a pretty quick post-production thing. I just really wanted to thank everyone once again for all the support that I've been getting over the past week and a few days. Honestly, it's just unreal to me, like genuinely. And I truly appreciate everyone who's watched the video, liked the video, shared, commented. You know, it's like the YouTube spiel, but of a support and appreciation. And I just really, really appreciate it. Like, I can't even express it to the fullest extent. I was so apprehensive about doing YouTube because I felt, I don't really think I have much to say. But then I was like, why not I just talk about what I specifically like in the series and my thoughts? And that's been going pretty well. And it's honestly almost like therapeutic in a way. It's just really enjoyable. And I'm glad that you guys enjoy the content as well. I'm hoping to keep cranking out more content for all of you, and I hope you'll continue to enjoy it in the future. And with that, I'm really thankful once again. And jeez. And with that, have a good one, and I hope you enjoyed the video.